Good afternoon, everybody. Hope you're having an amazing day. Welcome to this edition of Turnaround Marriage. And today I want to talk about conflict and how conflict is actually a good thing. Maybe not in the moment, but conflict can be a great blessing and something that God uses, as a matter of fact, in our marriages to help us to get back on the right path. Very, very interesting. Recently, I was talking to one of our amazing couples that we have the privilege of walking with in one of our clients, and they were sharing with me that in the past, when they thought back upon their own family of origin, and when conflict arose, it meant that there was going to be a lot of fighting. It meant that there was going to be tension. And this was a couple here, mind you. Both of them growing up in different families had the same experience that their parents did not know how to deal with conflict in a productive way. And as they thought back upon it, the conflict that they realized would build. And in both cases, actually, the conflict got so bad that both of their parents wound up getting divorced. In many ways, I would say, because they didn't know how to deal with conflict in a constructive way. But they realized that in their own marriage, the conflict not being dealt with by their own family was something that when they felt that conflict in their marriage, it was like something triggered. Like it was one of those real triggers that they would feel like, wow, this is not good. And oh my goodness, maybe we're going down the same path. Oh my goodness, maybe we're going to get divorced too. Maybe they didn't have that full thought process thought out that way, but it was something constantly in the back of their minds. And they were just sharing with me, Scott, it's like we realize now that not only was it something that was triggering us, but we realized that conflict is actually can be a great blessing for us, not in the moment, but what it does when you deal with it right, when you have the right tools, it actually brings you closer together. And I think that's exactly how God designed it, especially in the fallen age, that we would lean into each other and be able to work through that conflict. And guys, it's so much bigger than just make up sex, right? So here's the deal, guys. I feel like there's maybe two and a half types of couples. Ones that don't fight. In fact, I've even had couples that said we've never had a fight in 30 years of marriage. And it tells me that they're probably not dealing with their conflict very much. It tells me there's probably passive aggressive stuff going on, but they're putting all the conflict aside and acting as though that there isn't any conflict when that just does not happen between two sinners, right? And then and obviously there's varying degrees of couples that will not deal with that. Maybe it's, they don't want to fight, and who wants to fight? Who wants to have that conflict, right? But they'll just sweep it under the rug, not deal with it, and it gets worse and worse. And then there's other types of couples that will fight. I mean, they'll hash it out. They'll fight and they'll fight and they'll fight, even if they're not getting any resolution. And either way, dealing it is not good. Not dealing with it is not good. And I'll share the other half couple version in just a few moments. But the reality is not dealing with the conflict, not dealing with whatever differing opinions that you had, or maybe one of you got hurt. If you're not dealing with that, not taking care of it, just sweeping it under the rug, either by not talking about it or fighting it out, and it gets to be something that turns into this mountain instead of a molehill, you're staying stuck either way. You're not dealing with the conflict in a constructive way. And when you're in this place of one of these two types of couples and you're not leaning into one another and not bringing things around full circle, all of us will run away from conflict at times. All of us will also fight about it sometimes, whatever conflict. But if we stay there, you're not going to have resolution, and this is not a good place to be. And so often I think couples basically just run from the conflict, when in reality, it can be a great blessing. Now, we would all acknowledge that in the middle of it, it's simply not fun, right? I mean, who likes the conflict and differing opinions, hurt feelings, you guys, the tense moments, maybe in front of the kids, maybe not, whatever it is, it's not fun in the moment. But the beauty of it is that when we lean into each other and learn the right tools to deal with a conflict in a positive manner, and I wouldn't even say just deal with it, but to get on each other's team and to get on the same side of the table instead of confronting one another about what it is and learning to come alongside each other as a team, then you can really, really navigate through it in a powerful way. And so I would encourage you, This is something that when conflict comes up, yes, because of the sin nature, it's going to be a reality, but God doesn't want us to be stuck there. In fact, I think God has allowed this in us, in our marriages, for us to find forgiveness, for us to learn to love one another, even when we have a differing opinion. And we can lean into each other and lean into God, and there be great healing. Now, as I look back on our own story, there have been times that we have fought and had conflict. That I would say we're the type of couple that more or less argues more than argue then run, I would say, but not so much sweep things under the carpet. More so, we want to hash it out. But some of the things we've discussed and that have turned into conflict was even how to grieve over the loss of a friend or a family member, because we look at that differently and approach that loss differently. Oftentimes we'd be in a different place about it. Certainly we've been in a different place about parenting our own children and what it looks like to discipline them in a godly, honorable way. We come at it from certainly believing the Bible, certainly trusting God, but still found ourselves with differing opinions. We've differed over financial decisions in significant ways. We've differed over what schools to put our children in. We've differed about our schedule. I mean, we could go on and on about the types of things that we differed over. And a number of years ago, I think what happened with us is that it built up. That conflict built up like a pressure cooker, and it didn't get better. It got worse and worse. And sure, we had moments of great makeup sex. We had great moments that we went on vacation, or maybe we even had a conflict and we were like mad at each other for a few days and we came back together and it was a beautiful thing. But we ultimately really didn't deal with that conflict in a good way. Maybe we had gotten a breakthrough about that one specific subject and we was like, okay, we're going to agree to disagree, but we really truly weren't on the same team about things. We just learned to get along about that one issue. And so what happened with us is that it built up. We would deal with a little bit of this one here and a little bit of that one there, and it kept building and building and building to the place finally we got to, which was a place of loneliness where we were in the same house and basically in a partnership raising these kids. Didn't feel like there was a lot of love. We loved each other, but it was not real pretty. And we had gotten to a place where it was pretty dark because we didn't realize the tools that we needed to get out of this place, to get out of that stuck, to get out of the conflict, to get through the conflict. And really more than that, get to a place where we could understand each other, where the other person was coming from, and come alongside each other instead of butting heads, coming alongside each other as a team, working together with whatever came up against us, navigating those challenges and not running away and not fighting it out, but talking it out, working it out. And once we started to do that, guys, everything changed. So here is the three different types of couples we see, three different techniques or modalities that we see of couples and the way that they're living their marriage. There are the couples, again, that don't fight. Those are the ones, or maybe it's just one that won't fight. There's a lot of stonewalling. It's a lot of, I need to go have my space. I need to go have time with my friends. A lot of pushing each other away. Maybe when early on in the marriage, you could lean into each other and it got worse and worse. And it seemed like no matter what you tried, you weren't able to get through that conflict. And so you just don't fight. In fact, you just don't even talk very much. And when you do talk, it builds up that tension. So you don't want to go there and you wind up finding your separate ways. And it might just be one of the, the husband or the wife, and they're going their separate way. Then there's the other type of couple. They'll fight. They'll fight it out. Over the years, it's gotten worse and worse probably. And you've gotten maybe even to the place where those, you can't even have a discussion without it turning into a full-on argument. And so everything is conflict at that point. And then there are the couples, the other half, I would say, the 2.5, the number 2.5, where they have big fights and then they don't talk about it. And this is a really dangerous combination, guys. When you have gotten to the place where you disagreed about something, you're butting heads, you're fighting, and then you go your separate ways, maybe for a day, maybe for a week, maybe for months. And it is not pretty when you get to that place because you have all this extra tension building up. And there might be little moments with the top of the pressure cooker. You remember when mom used to cook the pressure cooker and that little weight would pop up and the air would come out. It's like just a little bit that would let out, but the pressure cooker is still building and your marriage has gotten to the place where it is just waiting to explode. And you guys have gotten to the place where you maybe don't even feel like this marriage is even salvageable. I've even heard couples say, well, I love my spouse, but I'm not in love with them anymore. And maybe they're even saying that to one another. Maybe they're even gotten to the place where they're talking openly about divorce. And here it is, guys. The heart of the matter is that you are allowing conflict to build up within you. That's the heart of the matter. And when you can learn to take conflict and turn it around to be something that actually draws you closer together, nothing in the world can stop you. The evil one, no matter what he tries, cannot stop you because you're a freaking power couple. It doesn't matter if we're in the year 2020 and a pandemic breaks out. You are a power couple that can't be separated. And guys, it doesn't matter what comes against you because you're on the same team, on the same page, and there may come conflict, but you're going to lean into each other. You're going to lean into the Lord and do whatever it takes to find a way through whatever conflict has come. And what happens, guys? It's just like a movie. What happens when there's a great conflict in the movie and the couple gets through it, right? It's like, that's what the storyline is all about. And it's a beautiful, beautiful thing when a couple can get that breakthrough. And we find that to be true in marriage as well. When you can learn to break through those moments of conflict and lean into each other, this can be an incredibly beautiful thing. Here's the even more thing, the amazing thing beyond that. Imagine if conflict could actually be fun. Now, there's some of you that are thinking, because of where you're at, that's impossible. Well, guys, this is exactly what we teach our clients to do. In fact, as I shared at the beginning, the one power couple that we're working with shared exactly that. It's like, wow, I never realized that it didn't have to be this big tension building thing, that it actually could be something that's fun because we're on the same team working it out. We're not fighting against each other. We're on the same page, getting through something, getting through whatever comes against us to have an amazing breakthrough, because we know what's going to happen on the other end is that we're going to be even closer than before. And that is the amazing thing of what happens when you view conflict as potentially a good thing. I wouldn't have believed me if I were saying this to myself years ago either. It almost seems too good to be true, but it's absolutely true. And when you get to this place, guys, it's an amazing thing. Even yesterday, my wife and I had some conflict. I mean, it was the reality of the situation. We had some conflict that built up. We talked it through. We said some forgiveness to one another, and we moved on from the day. It moved on in the day, and we had an amazing rest of the weekend. So conflict in itself does not have to be a bad thing. In fact, it can be an amazing thing to make you guys grow closer together, where distrust goes away, where you know that the other person is all in for you and that there's nobody else, and the faith that you have in one another and the hope that you have that nothing's going to come against you. It's an amazing, amazing thing. So guys, I just want to encourage you to check out our masterclass. And one of the reasons why I'm saying that is right in there. It's a free thing for you to check out. We talk specifically about embracing stress. That's right along with the conflict. It's the exact opposite of what we've heard. It's the exact opposite of what we've maybe even learned in the past. You know, like we've got to learn to manage conflict. Guys, we need to learn so much more than managing conflict. We can learn to have conflict as a breakthrough for us, as an amazing thing that God can use for us to grow closer together. So guys, I just want to encourage you with that today, wherever you're at. If you're thinking in the terms of like the conflict is a bad thing, I just say, let's wait a minute. Let's think about that. Just think about it from the perspective of a movie. And when you get to that place and you guys can lean into each other and lean into the Lord, you are going to be an amazing power couple that nothing can stop and no one can stop. And guys, if you're also out there and you're realizing, boy, that sounds really good, I'm not sure if it's reality for us. Maybe it even seems too good to be true for you. Guys, I'd encourage you to reach out. I'd encourage you to reach out for a free breakthrough call. What we do is I get on the phone with you and we talk about what's not been working and what you hope that your marriage can be. And if I can help you to get from there, from where you are to where that is, I'm absolutely going to make that path clear to you. But if there's something better out there, I'm going to direct you that way. But guys, here's the deal: is I will give you clarity about what you need to do to get back your marriage, the marriage of your dreams. And here is the thing, guys: we love doing this. This is our passion, to see couples come alive as to what God had intended for their marriage all along, and that how that God can use, when we allow Him to, conflict to draw us closer together. It's an amazing, amazing thing to see. And we see it every day. So guys, I encourage you to reach out if you know that you're stuck and you want that support, and check out our masterclass, check out make sure you register for a free call. And either way, we're here for you guys. Have any questions, reach out. Hope you have an amazing day. And as conflict arises, maybe today, tomorrow, this week, whatever it would be, lean into each other and lean into Christ. Have an awesome day and week.